Hey guys, it's Jess from Peace Love Books, and today I'm here with my June TBR. I do want to start off this video though with a couple of points. First, I hope you're on Twitter. Twitter has been keeping me informed about what's going on way more so than Facebook and Instagram. I feel like Twitter is giving me a lot of information about what people in the community are doing, what people in the community are not doing, they should be doing, the whole book outlet fiasco. I really urge you to go on Twitter and make sure that you're following the book community so you can see what's going on there. Second, I want to make sure you guys are still doing your best to make a change in the world right now. Please sign those petitions. Please donate your money. The TBR video I came out in May had 7,000 views. If every one of you donated $1, that would be $7,000. If all of you donated $2, that would be $14,000. If all of you donated $5, that's how much some people spend on their cup of coffee in the morning. I mean, that's an expensive cup of coffee, but if you buy a cup of coffee from Starbucks, spend $5. If all of you who watch this donate $5 to any of the people I'm linking down below, that would be $35,000 donated from the people watching one YouTube video. So I urge you, even if you think, well, I don't have a lot of money, I can't donate $2. Any amount of money makes a difference. If you can't donate $2, sign petitions. Watch those YouTube videos where all the AdSense money is going to all these organizations. I will link that thread down below as well from Twitter to see the YouTube videos people are putting out where all the AdSense money is going to Black Lives Matter. One of the videos has millions of views, and all that AdSense money is going to be donated. So whatever you're doing, wherever you are, please make sure you're doing something. This is not the time to be silent. This is not the time to just sit by and say, oh, it doesn't matter to me. That's your privilege and you need to stand up and do something. I also want to point you to a few videos that Black Booktubers have posted. I've watched 3 so far, and I have another one I'm watching right after I finish filming this, and they are explaining their experiences being Black on BookTube. I really appreciate them coming forward and speaking out about the topic, and I think that they're very important to watch to understand what it's like to be Black on BookTube. So I will link all of them down below, so if you want to, go ahead and check out those videos as well. Alright, so after all of that, I'm going to start with the books, and a few of them I am reading for specific book clubs and read-alongs and readathons. So the first one is Queen Move by Kennedy Ryan. I have my book club Ravished by Romance, and Kennedy Ryan will be joining us on June 26th to discuss her book on my channel during a live show. We had this actually organized a couple weeks ago. Lacey from Lacey Book Lovers read an e-arc of it, and she was talking to Kennedy about how it was our pick because we love Kennedy. The Kingmaker was one of our book picks earlier when that came out a few months ago, and Kennedy agreed to be a guest host on our live show, Book Club Talk, so make sure that you guys mark that in your calendars and download your copy of this. I'm so excited to read it. I love the Kingmaker series. It's a spin-off and it does have a Black main character. Next, I'm going to be reading Soft on Soft. I am completely blanking on the author's name, so the picture of the book will be right here. This is the Brown Girl Book Club. The book club this month is being hosted by Mina and Jess. I believe Jess is the one that runs the book club, and this one's an FF romance, and it's pretty short. I think it's around 200 pages. This one is between a plus-size model and her makeup artist. So I'm really excited to read it. I'm only 4% and I didn't get to read it a lot yesterday, but I'm going to finish that today and join their live show discussion, so I'm very excited for that. And then the Blackout Readathon is hosted by Books with Shay, and this one I'm very excited to join in. I'll leave all the information down below. I don't remember specific dates for it, but they are reading White Fragility and White Rage. I did order White Fragility from a bookstore who was donating 5% of their proceeds to the Black Lives Matter organizations, and they got so flooded with orders for race books that it's back ordered now. So I don't think I'm going to get my copy for like 2 to 3 weeks, but I went to Barnes & Noble and found White Rage. I think White Fragility is written by a white author and White Rage is written by a Black author, and I also did end up from Book Outlet, which last order's placed with Book Outlet with my rewards money, and that one I think is written by this same author for a young adult audience, so I'm very excited to read that. But this one is the one I have my hands on. I think I'm going to try to read like 50 pages a day. I really dislike reading nonfiction. I know I'm a teacher, I'm an English teacher, but nonfiction is just not my thing to read for fun. So I am still going to read this, and I'm still going to try to do my best to read more nonfiction to keep myself informed. And I just know this has to deal a lot with racism. So I'm excited to read this and see what I can learn and be a part of that discussion. Then Book of the Month actually reached out to me and sent me all 5 of their books for this month. I am not an affiliate and I am not being sponsored. They did send me their 5 copies for free, but I want to say Book of the Month, I've been using them for a while, and you get to choose 1 book and then you can add on 2 books for the month, and they always have 5 choices. Recently I've been releasing books a month early, so I know the Boyfriend Project last month was a romance that's coming out next week that people got to read in May, and then there is a book on here that is releasing in July, which I'm very excited for. They have a lot of diverse reads regarding genre and their characters as well, so I'll talk about these books in a second. You can always skip a month if you're not interested in any books. I've done that before where I've skipped a month and then I've regretted it and ended up buying a couple from the previous month because you see a lot of people reading them and reviewing them. So if you're not interested in anything though, you can always skip it, but a lot of times they have genres that I'm excited for. They usually have thrillers, romance, literary fiction. If you want to get your first month for $10, $9.99, use the code SUN5 and I'll link it down below. And yeah, I'll go ahead and get to the books that were this month's picks. The first book that I'm actually really excited to read is The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennet. This released on Tuesday. This takes place in the 1950s through the 1990s and is about twin sisters, which I think is really intriguing because I'm a twin myself, but I'm not for sure what their race is in this book, but one of them ends up actually living her life as white passing and the other one lives in her small town with her black daughter, and they end up having very different experiences growing up and living their lives, and I'm very excited to read this and see how their experiences are. It's a little bit out of my comfort zone. It is more literary fiction, but I'm excited to read it. Okay, so the next one I don't want to know too much about because it is a thriller. That's Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. This is Riley Sager's new book coming out next month, so it is an early release, and something happened with this family at this house that they like ran away in the middle of the night, and then her dad actually wrote a book about it, and this is told between alternating chapters between what's going on now and his book. So that sounds very interesting. It kind of like a ghost story vibes to me, so I'm very excited to read this. The next one's a romance a la Bachelor, and it is One to Watch by Kate Stayman London. This, our main character, has just gone through a huge heartbreak and she loves the show Main Squeeze, which sounds like The Bachelor, and she's really disappointed with the lack of body diversity, and she is a plus size woman, and so what happens is she gets a call asking if she wants to be the next star on the dating show. So I think it's going to be romance. I'm pretty sure. This is going to be a very interesting look at today's culture, especially around like dating shows, so I'm very excited to read this. The next one I've never heard of before, but that is The Last Flight by Julie Clark. This is about 2 women who want to escape their lives. One of our women is abused by her husband, and so she puts into place a plan that she wants to leave, and then 2 women meet in the airport and they decide to swap plane tickets, and the main character's plane going to Puerto Rico crashes, so I think she has to assume this woman's identity. Sounds very interesting. Okay, so the last one's a debut. So it is A Burning by Megha Majumdar, and I don't really know what this is about. I'm reading the synopsis and sometimes I just like, it doesn't click. So it says there's 3 unforgettable characters who seek to rise and find their lives entangled in the wake of a catastrophe in India. They read as components of a thriller, so I don't know. We'll see about that one. So that is Book of the Month. I will leave their link down below, and remember to use that code to get your first book for $9.99. The next 3 books I have on my TBR because I am on the committee at my school for choosing books for the summer reading program we're doing with our kids. Since we're not in actual school, we're doing it virtually, and so I'm on this committee where we're choosing books, and then we're gonna figure out how to have our like a reading summer program like the libraries do, but through the schools. So I am on the team for the high school. I'm a high school teacher, and so I have 3 books I really want to read to see if I want to recommend them for that program. So the first one is Felix Ever After by Case and Callender. I've not read a Case and Callender book, but this cover is gorgeous, and I think this is the readathon pick for Read Your Gaze that Boston's hosting. This one is about Felix, who is a trans boy. Someone figures out his dead name and has pictures of him before he transitioned. They've publicly posted that information and they start sending him threatening messages, but he just wants to be in love, and so I think this is going to be a really great book to read and give to my high schoolers in my classroom so that they understand other experiences other than themselves. So I'm very excited to read this one. Then I got 2 Elizabeth Acevedo books. I know this one's her new one, Clap When You Land, and it is written in verse. With the Fire and High, I'm pretty sure she's a single mom and she wants to like become a chef. yeah, she got pregnant freshman year. So I'm really excited to read this one. I've heard really great things, and I've seen a few people read this one. So this sounds like it might be their sisters. So one of them, her father visits every summer from the Dominican Republic, and then another one, she lives in New York, and dad just died in a plane crash. And I don't think they knew about each other. So I guess that both of their dads died and they didn't know that they actually had a sister. So I'm excited to read this. This next book was already also on my TBR, but I had no idea that N.K. Jemisin was a Black author and that a lot of her books deal with race issues. And so the 5th season is what I'm hoping to read. It is fantasy, and I can't even begin to tell you what the synopsis is. I have no idea. I already struggle with figuring out synopses for contemporaries, let alone fantasies. So I've heard this is really good though. A lot of people have recommended N.K. Jemisin to me, so I'm excited to read this one. The next one I want to read because book 2 comes out soon, and that is Storm and Fury by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This one, our main character is going blind, which I think she has the same thing as Jennifer L. Armentrout does, and she can see ghosts, and so she lives in this isolated place that is protected by these gargoyles. And then I guess Zane is from, I think, the White Hawk Hiss series, and he's in here and their worlds like intertwined. So I'm excited to read this. I've heard really good things. Then before book 3 comes out, I hope to read Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty. This one is book 2 to this series, and it is Middle Eastern inspired, and book 1 left off on a cliffhanger, and I really want to know what happens to our main character and what happened to the other character that she was getting close to, and I'm just like dying. I don't want to tell you too much about this, but our main character has these powers that she's kept secret. She realizes that she's very different from other people and has to travel to this city to figure out who she is, and then she's there, and then this is her there, I'm assuming. So I can't wait to read this. And the last 4 books I hope to read are all historical romances, which I'm very excited for. I'm not going to tell you the plot of these because I've already talked about all these in my book haul. So I have This Earl of Mine by Kate Bateman, Scott Under the Covers by Suzanne Enoch, The Rogue of Fifth Avenue by Joanna Shoup, and then The Virgin and the Rogue by Sophie Jordan. I am going to do a reading vlog where I'm going to read these, and I'm very excited to read more historicals. That's my TBR. Let me know what you plan on reading this month or what you're excited for me to read. I would love to hear. As always, thank you so much for watching and have a good day. Bye.